Hey, this is Anney.
And Samantha.
And welcome to Stuff I Never Told You, a production of iHeartRadio. And today, welcome to another sub segment, Fictional Women Around the World. This is a special one because as it comes out, it is Christmas Eve. Happy Christmas Eve to anyone who celebrates.
Happy Christmas
Happy
Eve.
Christmas to whoever. Happy day to whoever.
Good luck.
Because of that, I thought I'd do something a little different for this Fictional Women Around the World. And we would just talk about some popular tropes around women in holiday movies. Because there are a lot of them. Starting with the workaholic. Mm-hmm. And we briefly discussed this in one of my recent happy hours about how I feel like I'm sort of been put into this trope. This is the woman who puts her career first, and now her life is meaningless. She has to go home for Christmas for some reason, and then finds out it's all a lie. And here we go. She finds the meaning of Christmas, usually because of the related trope, the hunk who shows her life is more than work.
And they're always like a carpenter.
Yeah.
Somehow.
Or they work at like the local store and they wear a lot of plaid.
Or they own a bookstore.
Yes.
That's been the go-to. Those two things.
Yes. And I guess I should put a disclaimer here. I have seen plenty of holiday movies, but I'm not I haven't delved into Hallmark at all. I don't know. Even I know some of these. I know these.
I was actually thinking about this because it is now on the advertising for Google TV. So if you have that as, Roku TV, Google TV, they show you holiday movies you might want to watch. And the Hallmark channel is absolutely featured. It's old school days, to be in a Hallmark movie meant you were about to make it. You haven't quite made it, but you've been on either kind of a syndicated show or you're you're jumping from TV to movies. Mm-hmm. I just saw it with Skeet Ulrich, I think, and Kerry Russell. Uh-huh. Yeah, so Skeet Ulrich and Kerry Russell's old Hallmark movie. And I was like, my God, did they do one? Really? It was way back when. And I think it was at the era of her being in Felicity. And way back when, she was starting to get big. Her hair was being talked about. Because for some reason, the 90s era was women in hair. Everybody wanted that haircut. Anyway. But I was like, yeah, I think once upon a time when Tiffany Amber Thiessen was getting out of Saved by the Bell, she was in a crime Hallmark Lifetime movie. It was weird. Because at that point, Lifetime and Hallmark were one and the same. They were featuring, because Hallmark Channel wasn't its own channel. It was all being featured on Lifetime. I'm old. Just go with me, bear with me. And so you would have both. But it's so fantastic. Actually, I just pulled up the Magic Ordinary Days of Ordinary Days. Maybe it was a real movie and I just thought it was Hallmark version, but I'm pretty sure. But I'm like, wow, to truly have made it. And now it's people who have either their career needs to be revived or we've never heard of them.
Well, like I said, if you could get a good Christmas movie, like I've said before, I haven't said it in this current episode, but like I've said before, if you can get a good Christmas movie, that's kind of a guaranteed yearly income.
Moneymaker.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I do have a friend who was on Sminty back when we didn't have a co-host, and she loves Hallmark movies, and she broke it all down for me. But these tropes, I feel like they've infiltrated. And this was part of the reason I wanted to talk about it was my mom. She got it in her head. She wanted to watch Hot Frosty. And I was like, okay.
Tell me it's a gay Hallmark movie, is it?
You don't know what it is?
No.
Oh, no, it's not.
Oh, man.
It's about a hot snowman has abs and comes to life. And love is found, I guess.
Is the title Hot Frosty, really?
Yes.
Ah!
I have heard some people like it, and I'm not judging it. I haven't seen it. I was just kind of like, Mom, I was only bringing this up because I kind of think it's funny. But then she got it in her head. It's like, we should watch it.
Did you?
No.
Oh.
No. Well, my mom, I love her to death, but she's not good at watching movies. She usually falls asleep within like the first 20 minutes. So I was like, I don't want to be stuck watching Hot Frosty by myself. And maybe I would like it. I have a upcoming classic about how it brought up all this debate about what a cinnamon roll actually is, the trope. So I don't know.
It might be a cinnamon roll.
I disagree, but I think, yes, I can see it. I can see it. But I haven't watched the movie, so I got to do that before I can judge finally.
Disagreeing already. Damn.
Yeah. Well, based on the article I read about it, their points, I disagree. But I haven't seen the movie, so I'll have to watch and then I can judge. But yeah, my mom will fall asleep and I'd be left watching it by myself. And I wasn't in that place at the current moment. So here is a quote from McSweeney's about the kind of workaholic Christmas movie woman. Sure, she gets great satisfaction from maintaining her independence, achieving her goals, and surrounding herself with people who challenge and inspire her. But it's time for her to stop working and start living the Hallmark way. It's time for her to go home for the holidays. Once home, she will greet whichever of her parents is still living. She's required to miss at least one of them, tragically. Then she must bump into some guy she knew in high school. He knew her when she was still young and carefree, before she'd had any meaningful life experiences, and before her brain was even really finished developing. He knows the real her.
Perfect.
It's a really great article. It's satirical, I hope, obviously. But it has a lot of great quotes. So if you're interested, I would say go check that out. Also related is the perfectionist. And this is sort of the woman who has to get all of Christmas right. She has to get all the decorations right. She's got to win the cookie contest and the light show contest and all of that. That is also a popular trope. These last two are the ones I'm most familiar with. The nagging mom. This is the woman who does like everything, but the man gets the credit for finding the spirit of Christmas or something.
Right.
Yeah, it's usually like she asked him to do the one thing and then he didn't do it. And then for some reason, she's the villain in this for bothering him about it. And then he eventually finds some way to succeed, and he's the hero.
Like he becomes Santa Claus.
He becomes Santa Claus. That's a big one. Or Jingle All the Way, which, by the way, has a post-credit scene, if you didn't know. And the post-credit scene is... So the whole plot of that movie is he, like, doesn't spend any time with his family. And then he was supposed to get this, like, really hard-to-get gift. And he didn't. And now he can't get it because everybody's sold out everywhere. He's able to get it in the end, but whatever. Anyway, post-credit scene is his wife is like, I'm so impressed with everything you did for our son. And it makes me wonder, what did you get me? He didn't get her anything. And I'm like, yep. That's it.
Wow, right. I like that ending. Like, yeah. And his face, like the bloopers, like, oh.
Yeah. It like does the quick zoom and he's like, oh.
Like, I don't know if it's just implying that all men have ADHD and that they don't remember or they wait to the last minute.
Yeah.
And then they're like, oh no, and scrambling around for kind of a good gift. I will say the time did get away from me this time as well. So I'm like, they're not the only ones, but get it together.
I mean, I was reading an article before this about, I mentioned it briefly in the happy hour that will come out, about how there's been a lot of articles lately about people realizing that their moms bought and wrapped their own gifts. And there was one article who was written by someone who was like, I'm always kind of annoyingly bragging about how our relationship is so equitable and we share all these responsibilities. But when Christmas comes, it goes out the window. And he's always so last minute and I'm like shouldering all this other stuff. And when we talked about it, what he said was he doesn't get the exchanging of gifts. So it doesn't occur to him. But she was like, well, tell that to all the people in our life. I don't know. Like,
Right.
it was interesting, though.
But guarantee he would have been embarrassed if they didn't show up with gifts and things and all
Yeah.
of that and been like, oh, no. And then when he gets gifts, he'd be like, why didn't you do it?
Yeah. Well, and she was saying, like, a lot of times people, they would cut their eyes to her because they're expecting her to do it. So even though it's on him, he's not getting the blame.
Right, no.
She is.
But he would still feel embarrassed.
Yeah. But that is such a trope, especially in, admittedly, my data set of like holiday movies is from when I was growing up. So
Right.
like the 90s.
Right.
I'm not sure if it's changed, but in the 90s, this was a huge trope.
Well, just like a Disney movie, I had a lot of movies about like parents dying and them being alone and having one parent trying to shoulder all that, but then like telling the kid to get over it, or like having the aunt come in and still being seen as a villain.
Mm-hmm.
Prancer. That traumatized me.
Yes.
I hate that movie. Hate it with a passion. Hate it with everything in my being. Everything about it makes me angry. This is why I don't get into the Christmas spirit. I think it's these movies. I'm okay.
That's fair. There is another related trope, I would say, which is that the mom who is underappreciated and puts everyone first, even though they're having a terrible Christmas. So a lot of people gave, is it Taya Leone from Love Actually? Like she's having this horrible.
No.
Who is Emma Thompson?
Okay, Emma Thompson.
Emma Thompson.
Absolutely
Sorry.
not.
I've seen that movie like twice.
Don't speak ill of Love Actually. How dare you? How dare you?
But they were saying like she's having this horrible Christmas and she's
Yeah.
like putting on a smile and still trying to.
I mean, to be fair, she finds out that her husband is talking to a very,
Oh, of
very,
course
very, very,
she's-
very young secretary.
Yeah.
R.I.P. Alan Rickman.
I mean, of course she's having a terrible Christmas, but like that idea of her
Yeah.
feeling like I have to
Right.
shoulder on and put on the smile and make all this magic.
Right.
Yeah.
Make the costumes of a lobster for the first lobster in the nativity. Yeah, if y'all know, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's so many, like the mom, like even the Christmas Story, the mom is just tired. And I've only seen, I still have not seen all of the Christmas Story because it is on repeat everywhere I go and I can't stand it. Not because it's a bad movie. It's just because it's so overplayed that I'm like, I will never watch this. No offense to those who love it. I get it. It's a good Christmas movie for y'all. But like the mom, she is thoroughly tired and constantly having to watch after the kids and constantly having to watch over her imbecilic husband, essentially. So it seems. Someone's going to come out here and get really mad at me about me denigrating A Christmas Story. But I think about that as well. And even like Elf, her character is just trying to like being like, no, I have a job too. You're responsible for the son. He's miserable because of you. You need to get it together. Like she's also tired of him and also taking kind of care of the adult man who was his son who thinks that he's an elf. Pretty sure she and he are close to the same age, by the way. But anyway, but I think like even the newer movies still have the moms just being like secondary characters who are just done and tired.
Yeah. I think about that too. Because it's usually like, it's about the main dude finding Christmas and she's just there like, please help.
Please do your job.
Please do the bare minimum once again.
At least they don't paint her as the bad guy in this one because she is so secondary. But she's just more like, I'm done.
Mm-hmm.
And I appreciate that. But like that's still that level of nagging in which they really are trying to pigeonhole women in these characters. Yeah. We've done those episodes before. It is so I'm like, why do we need to do this again?
Well, this brings us to I have a tiny bonus one after this, but our final main one is All I Want Is a Man. Big trope. She is single on Christmas. No.
The Family Stone. is not that, but it's kind of like being the perfect girlfriend to keep a man.
I feel like a lot of the kind of rom-com ones are she's single at Christmas. Oh no. Oh no, no, no. And they're usually presented very comically, like she's can't get her life together. Maybe she got fired from her job. Maybe she slipped in the road. It could be anything. But she's not having a good time at Christmas. Here's the quote. Here's a quote from the stylist. Being single at Christmas in a festive film is akin to being a social pariah. Your entire purpose is to find love before the credits roll. The longer it takes you to achieve this goal, the more you will be punished via a series of cinematic misfortunes. Your bags will break and spill your shopping all over the floor, for example. You will make an arse of yourself at the office karaoke party. You will wind up drunk and home alone at least once, dancing to the Killers or singing All By Myself. See The Holiday and Bridget Jones's Diary for proof.
It's true.
It's true.
That's more about New Year's, though. I mean, it's both.
And we did do, I think, both of those for holiday movies.
Yes, we did.
We did. But yeah, that kind of whole, you can't be alone over Christmas. No. In a very heteronormative sense. Not even just your family, but like.
Well, apparently there's a gay Christmas movie, Single All the Way.
There's more. There's more than that one. Because there are exceptions. Things are changing. It's very slow going. But yes, there are a few. Because for so long, it was very straight, very white. It still largely is, but there are exceptions, and there are more and more exceptions. So that's something. But yeah, I was reading articles about like. Just so much of it is still kind of like, and it's the reality, unfortunately. It's still the women in the kitchen cooking and making everything and doing all the gift giving and all of this stuff. And they are secondary unless they're single and they need to find a man to find their meaning. Then otherwise, what are you even doing?
What are you even doing? I just love, honestly, that a bunch of the movies are just quite on the nose, like A Merry Single Christmas.
Yeah.
I will say, during the pandemic, one of the best Christmases I had, I love all my Christmases, but is me being by myself at my house. Because we couldn't travel anywhere. And my parents, all of them had COVID because they all decided to see each other like a week before, and all of them got COVID. I'm like, I'm not coming to see you. Nope. And then my partner ended up going, I think actually went to see his family, and we weren't at that point yet. Like we weren't visiting each other's family. And I was like, I'm going to chill here. I'm good. Happy holidays, y'all. And I think I watched like Christmas movies and just sat at home. It was delightful.
I mean, that's the thing. It doesn't have to be the saddest thing ever. It's not. For a lot of us, it's not. But we've also talked about how before, when you go home, a lot of times you get those questions of why are you still single? And that can make you feel like, is that the only purpose I have?
Yeah.
Yeah, but for plenty of us, you can even enjoy these movies and know that it's very silly, and
that's okay.
It's okay.
Enjoy those silly movies.
Yeah, just always recognize when you get some tropes. But yeah,
go on. We talked about this before recently. Cliche and tropes. They're not all bad.
No.
Enjoy them with caution.
Enjoy with caution. So I would say my honorary mention is young girls who like help everybody find the spirit of Christmas. Miracle on 34th Street is a good example. And Cindy Lou who I actually did find a really interesting article about her and about how she basically is like rescuing her family in town from capitalism. And I was like, oh, okay.
That's nice.
I know.
Yeah, Frosty the Snowman is a young girl that rescues Frosty the Snowman, essentially in the spirit of Christmas. As well. There's several that's like that. And I think it's always typically young girls. Again, Prancer. Still traumatized, but it's that same trope and I hate it.
Yeah. There's definitely several that fit into that as well. But I hope, listeners, that whatever you're doing, wherever you are, however you're choosing to celebrate or not celebrate, you are well. And if you have any thoughts on any of this, any suggestions, because there are some like pretty newish movies that have come out that I was reading about. I was like, oh, this is different. I haven't seen this holiday movie before. So always appreciate suggestions. You can email us at stephaniemomstuff@iheartmedia.com. You can find us on Twitter and Blue Sky at momstuffpodcast, or on TikTok and Instagram at Stuff I Never Told You. We're also on YouTube. We have a TeePublic store, and we have a book you can get wherever you get your books. Thanks as always to our super producer Christina, our executive producer Maya, and our contributor Joey.
Thank you.
And thanks to you for listening. Stuff I Never Told You is a production of iHeartRadio. For more podcasts from iHeartRadio, you can check out the iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you listen to your favorite shows.